Alright guys, hi, welcome everyone for the Appian demo session. I hope you guys can hear me okay?
Yes, we'll hear. Yeah, we hear you.
Right? Okay, perfect. If no one, if anyone is not able to hear me, please drop a message so I can know. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for confirming. Yeah, thank you. Alright, so let's get started. So before we start, let's know each other. What audience we have, and then what kind of things you are expecting from us. So yeah, I will start by Pramod. Hey Pramod.
Yeah, hi. Hi. Are you Harsha, right? Or Ravi?
Ravi.
Yeah. Hi, Ravi. So, yeah, I am. I have around 10 years of experience and I'm working in IBM BPM and BAW.
Mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
Vastly, I've learned APN for a while, but so I'm looking for a change
Okay.
from IBM BPM to APN BPM.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for what. Kavya. Hi. And Rigol.
Yeah, hi.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, Ravi. I am Rejaul Korim. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, I am from Dallas, Texas, and
Mm-hmm.
actually I am now working. I am now in working place. So actually I want to hear you, but maybe I have no response actually. But I will try. Okay, thank you.
Sure, sure. Not a problem. Not a problem. It's
Okay,
just about
thank.
the introduction. If you have any question, you can drop a message
Okay,
here in the chat.
every class we will get the recording session. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, you
Yes.
will.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Shank. Uh, Anyone else want to go? Bhargava. All right, yeah. There could be possibility that people may not talk because of they may be in office or okay, fine. So, Devanta, you want to tell me about yourself? It's just an introduction, no. Okay, not a problem. Thank you. Okay, so let me introduce myself. My name is Ravi. I have around 10 plus experience of Appian development, right? I've been since working as an Appian developer when I started my career. All right, so this is basically an Appian demo session where you talk up, you want to know about what Appian is. I see there are a couple of people who already know what Appian is, and they also have some experience. So let's start with the discussion, what you want to know, what you want to learn, right? What kind of things you are expecting from us, so that it will be better to understand. All right. So yeah, anyone want to go and just tell me that what's their requirement, or or else you want me to start away straight away and then talk about the admin. I just want to make this session is to know each other and then better understanding what we are gonna do here, what kind of development we are, training we are going to do, right? So yeah, please. Anyone want to start anything? Okay, let's start then. What Appian is. Anyone want to let me know that what Appian is? You know about Appian, where you heard about the Appian? Come on, guys, please make it interactive. So,
Kind of BPM process. It's
mhm.
kind of BPM business deliver process. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's correct. It's a BPM process. All right. Okay, so see, what's an Appian is, right? It's basically a BPM tool. When we talk about the BPM tool, we talk about, right? We have a general development as well, right? What's it? Sorry. So we have other applications like Java and C++ or Python. So how this Appian is different with those with the with other basic programming standard language that we have. Can anyone tell me? Okay, let's start with the what is the BPM process then. Anyone? What's the BPM?
Business process automation.
Business process. Okay, yeah, I mean that's a full form. So what do you mean by business process management BPM? What's the business? What's the process? And what's the management? All right, let me, I see that people are not that much interactive there. I mean, maybe they are in office. So let me straight away, start explaining everything. And then, if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me in between, and then, we can discuss on that. Okay, so business process management. In the business process management, the business is like a requirement, right? You see, if I ask you, why don't we let's go and prepare a tea, right? So that's a requirement that I gave you, that making some tea and all. So that's a business. Whatever requirement we are getting from the our business client, that's a business. And process is like how you process your data, how you if you talk about the real-time example, how you basically preparing the tea, right? There should be a process of making a tea, and there could be a multiple ways of making tea. Someone may pour water first, and one may pour milk first, so there could be different ways also to create to prepare a tea, right? So same way in application development also there could be multiple ways. So business process is nothing but how you achieve your requirements given by the business client. And management, so management is like, if you again talk about the real-time example that we are saying, that preparing the tea, we may get sugar from somewhere else, we may get milk somewhere else, right? And then we use those things, and then we keep it in the same place, right? So there will be some changes, and then so that's how database come into the picture. Like we may use the data from some different places, and then we use the data, we process the data, and then we send it back to their own space. So that's what the business process management is. So if someone asks you what's a business process management, you should be able to answer that. All right. Now, Appian is a BPM tool. You know, there could be multiple tools, as Pramod mentioned that he's working on an IBM BPM, right? So that's also a BPM tool. And then we going to learn about the Appian. This is also a BPM tool. So what we do here, we create an web-based applications. How it is different from the other programming languages. Appian BPM, you must have heard that Appian is a low code tool. When we say low code tool, it means that you have to do coding, but very minimal. Most of the things, like 90% of the things, would be the configuration, and few things like small coding you need to perform. So that's the Appian BPM tool. Any questions still here? All right. So how basically this is different between the other languages? As we said, right, it's a low code. So what kind of coding we might be performing in Appian? You might have learned in the colleges, or if you are fresher, or if you are like doing some coding, C and Java, so you must be doing some coding, right? If not, then let me first tell you that it's not that big tough things to do. Appian development is a pretty easy. Now, you might have learned about the if conditions, like let's say I'm going to say if, right, and then this if is getting closed here. So what are the parameters that if has? I might say that value x is equal to 5 or not. If it is 5, then display yes or display no. Okay.
Hello.
So this kind of coding we might have. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello, Ravi. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Please go ahead.
Sorry, sir. Yeah, no issues. Please continue.
Okay. Yes, no problem. All right. So this kind of coding you might have in your Appian. There could be some other functions. So like Java, we have many functions defined in the Appian, right? So many functions are there in the Java. Same way we have in Appian as well. So you first you should know that this entire Appian tool itself is built on Java. So you will see that most of the coding patterns, most of the functions, it will be very similar to the Appian, but we are not going to use similar to the Java, but we are not going to use any Java things here. Just the tool is being developed in the Java. If you need to create any new plugin which is not available in the market or which is not available in the Appian development environment, you might have to create a new plugin for yourself. In that case, you need to build that plugin in the Java code. It can be in the Python as well, but you have to prepare some jar file and then you have to deploy to the Appian environment, right? So when we talk about the environment, what kind of Appian environment we have? There are two kind of Appian environment is available in the market. One is the on-premise and one is the on-cloud. Okay, so most of the clients now are using on-cloud versions of Appian. So what's the difference between on-premise and on-cloud? Anyone can explain? Do anyone knows about on-cloud and on-premise?
Servers are on cloud. I mean, the Appian product to be installed on servers. So
Yeah.
on premises, most of we are not using at this moment.
So yeah, exactly. So on-cloud, and
AWS.
on-premise, yeah. So if you client, there are certain clients, bigger clients. If you talk about the financial giants, like there are many big companies who does not want to, provide your application environment to on cloud to everyone. They are very secure, so they install the Appian on their premise, on their own server, right? So if you are installing the Appian on your own server, that is on premise. However, if you are using the Appian from the Appian server itself, that's an on cloud, right? So you can access on cloud environment from anywhere. However, for using the on premise, you have to be within your client network, right? So that's the on cloud and on server. So right now most of the people are using on cloud because there are many flexibilities available with the on cloud. Let's say if you, for example, if you want to use new plugin, right, it's very easy to use a new plugin in the on cloud version. You simply have to go and say add plugin and the plugin will get added. However, in on premise you have to do a lot of things. You have to install the plugin and you have to restart the server to make that plugin available. Okay, so those kind of things are there in the on-cloud and on-premise. Now, what kind of application we built in Appian? We definitely built a web application, we built application, right? But who is the user? Who is going to be the personas who is going, end users who will be using this application, right? Any guesses? Let's say if I talk about the IRCTC example, right, Indian Railway booking service, right, that we have. So what do you think? Can we create that application in Appian?
Yeah, we can do.
Yeah.
We can. Okay. So who is the end user for the IRCTC?
Customers.
Customers. And how many customers there could be?
It's depend upon the sign up who are going to use that
Right.
portal.
Right. Okay. So now Appian is not what to say, that is free service, right? It's costly, right? It means that every credentials if you create in Appian, you have to pay an amount for that, right? It's not a freely available application environment. If you are buying a license, it's going to be costly. So is this possible to create an IRCTC type of application where there could be thousands or millions of users? Not possible, right? See, we can create the application, but that is not a valid use case, right? Because if you are going to create an IRCTC type of application, then there could be a lot of users, and it's not possible to create. I mean, it's possible to create, but it will going to be a very much chargeable, right? Because Appian charges a lot for based on the number of accounts creating on their environment, right? So see, I'm not saying that it's not possible, but it's not a valid use case for Appian application to be used. So what kind of application we may create in Appian environment?
Intranet applications.
Sorry?
Intranet application, like only within the organization with limited resources.
Exactly. So Appian is basically developed, is tool is being developed for the in-house employees. Okay. One second, sorry. Just give me 1 minute, sorry guys. Exactly, that's true. So Appian is basically, is for the in-house employees. What is an in-house employees? Let's say you are working in a bank, and then you want to open a new account for someone, right? So new account opening process is there. So customer visit at the bank, they provide their documentation, and then we start a process in behind. We collect the document, we upload the document to the system, we create a new account number, generate a new account number, we validate the document. So a process is going to be run in the backend, but the user will be the bank employees, not the customer who visited the bank, right? So that is a valid use case for the Appian development. Okay, is that clear? Any question here?
Yeah, clear.
Thank you. So I mean, it's not like that we cannot do that, but you should know that what kind of application is valid for the Appian use case. All right. Now you can see that what kind of coding, as I said, right? This is one of the code that we uses for the some condition check, or like if anything has to be conditionally checked there, so we can use a if condition. Now, if you want to display a text field, right? So in Java or in Python, you have to write a code, right, for that one, for a text field design. In Appian, you just simply say a bank text field function, and it will start. It will display an text field for you. Now, what comes extra benefit for this with Appian is that you write the code side by side, and you can see the visualization impact of your code, how it's getting designed on your design panel. All right, so that's how Appian is also helpful there. All right. Now, as we talk about a no code and versus low code, as we know that, right? Now Appian is a low code tool. It's not like we do not have to write a code. We definitely have to write some logic for the coding so that we can build our application properly. Now you think, no code is like if you don't have to write any code. Just a second. I have not joined. Okay, in the no code, what happens that you cannot configure your changes. Whatever is being provided by the system, you need to use that. It's like if they have designed in a way that if the email will be of two-liner, or there will be a button on your right hand side, or the drop down will be like single drop down, or search button could be on the left hand side. So you cannot go and change that. You just have to use whatever is being added there. However, for the low code, you can configure it. You can make it of your own choices. If you want to, make the button bigger, you can do that. If you want to make the button on the right to left, you can do that. So all those things is possible in your uh, in the low code environment. Basically, you can do the enhancement and the code changes, whatever is there, right? Yeah, what you cannot do is that, like for the example, like text, for the text field, we have a label, so you cannot change that. You cannot change the icon of the label. There are workarounds for sure, but yeah, if you're going to use the existing features, out of box feature of this app into code, you cannot change that text background. All right. Yeah, if we see this example, code example, BPM tool, as we said, right? The example of the real time. If I want to make a tea, that's a requirement, so that we call as a business. And how you prepare that tea, that's a process. And management is like how you place your data and what places you are putting the data. All right. The coding. What many people ask that, what do we call that Appian coding, right? It's a Sail. Sail is a self-assembled interface language. This is a coding standard that given by the Appian. It is very much similar with the Java coding. All right. Let me open the file. Here. Okay, I guess I hope you can guess my screen.
Yeah,
Yes,
guess we do.
Ravi.
Okay, so any question before we move to the slides? I mean, I just give you the basic things about the API and what what kind of tool it is, and then what kind of application we develop. If you guys have any questions here. No?
So,
So you said, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
Ravi.
question is
So,
like,
yeah, Pranay, go ahead.
yeah, sorry. You said like this is an a BPM tool, business process management tool. But in
Mm-hmm.
another example, customer will, I mean, for the bank account opening, customer will submit the documents at the bank, and banker will reprocess them to open the bank account, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
like RPN will store the documents. Like it's just a
Yeah,
BPM tool, or will it store the does it have any content management uh,
it has.
things?
It has. Appian has its own repository as well. Appian is basically comes with the whole package. If you're
Okay.
taking an Appian license, it will comes with like a Appian development environment, Appian repository where you can upload the documents, Appian in-house database, that is MariaDB. Initially it was MySQL, but now it's been changed to the MariaDB server. So yeah, Appian comes with the whole package, and documentation management, it also has is its own Appian repository where it can store the documents.
Okay. Is it like file store kind of thing, or any fixed content device? I mean, external devices kind of thing, like
No, no, no. It's its own Appian repository, as I said, right? You can store all the files. But yes, it also says that you should not be uh, uploading a huge amount of document always, and don't and not doing the cleanup. Cleanup is also very important, because at some point of time you may run out of your Appian memory allocated to you, right? So the cleaning
Mhm.
process is also there. It's not using any third party external system like Amazon or to capture the document. You can do that, but it's not comes with the package. You need to define some API service calls to send your document to be kept on some other third party.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Good question. Yep, I think Pramod, you are right. Go ahead. Someone else was asking question.
So, Ravi, you told there is a Sail language where we need to write the code, right? So, what is the
Mhm.
percentage of um, uh, writing the code in Appian? I mean, whether it is out of 100, whether we can have a 10 or 20%, something like that, or it's based upon the requirement.
You know, if you are pro, I mean, once you understand the Appian code, see, it comes to the two coding standard. One is the design mode and one is the expression mode. The design mode comes with the drag and drop and then configuration, 100%. So if you can, if you better understand the code, you can do that with the design mode. You don't even have to look for the expression mode where we have to go and write a code. Let's say, for example, if I want to design a text field, I just have to drag and drop it on the system, on the panel, design panel, where we can see the interface code. And in the right hand side, you can configure everything. The label, the placeholder, the value that has to be passed, everything you can do it. You know, However, to understand the code, I mean, if you want to know that code, you can go to the expression mode and you can see all the code is being already designed. If you want to put some validation, that you can do it. So I would say, if you are new, you can perform 80-20 percentage wise, 80% to design your UI and then 20% for the your business logic to be implemented. You can write some code there, right? So yeah, but if you know the Appian well, you can do everything from the design mode itself. But
Okay,
it is customizable, where you can customize your logic and look and feel. Yeah.
okay. Mainly for the validation purpose, we use this
Yeah,
Sail,
I
right?
mean, validation purpose, if you want to display the text field itself based on some certain conditions, I mean, all those things you can do.
Okay,
Even
okay,
validation
thanks.
also you can perform by using a design mode, but it just you have to think about the logic. See, design mode also you have to write some code, right? It opens a panel where you need to perform the define the code, because it's a business requirement. It can be dynamic, it can be anything. So Appian cannot simply give you a predefined logic for that, right? So that's the thing. Yeah, but yeah, you can perform most of the things by using the design mode.
Got it.
We'll see that.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Anyone else has any question? All right. So, we talk about the process. So, process, like, something is running in the behind, because everything we cannot just show up on the UI, right? So, when you submit the form, let's say, then the data has to save into the database, or it has to send an email to the user, or it has to perform any task, right? It has to generate any trigger or something, right? So, in the backend, a process is running. So, what that process is called is a called process model in Appian. So we need to define a set of activities that has to be done upon submission of the form or any action taken. So let's say, for example, you see this business process model and annotations. So here a customer may place an order, they can place an order, and then they may receive, they have to send a payment, and then once the payment is being received by the online shop, then this can send an invoice, all those things, that process we do, like just for example Amazon shopping, we search for an item, we place an order, and then in the order it may trigger payment link to you. When you apply the payment, it will get verified. Once successful payment is done, then it will send an invoice to you, and then your order will be placed. So in everything we are performing, right, in the behind, the process is running, which is taking care of our other tasks which system has to do. All right. So that is the process. We only talk about the Appian, what Appian is, and the Appian is it's I think it's been 15 to 16 years in India. Appian has launched, and then it was there before as well, but it was very limited access. But last uh, decade, or I can say last 7 to 8 years, it has been uh, used by a lot of customers as a their first choice of tool to develop the application for in-house, for their employees. These are some UI examples that you can see that has been built in Appian. You can see that it is being used in mobile, tablet, uh, you know laptop and desktop, anywhere. It required very minimal changes if you want to display certain things on your of your choice in the mobile or tablet. Otherwise, it auto adjusts the screen to be displayed on different devices. Yeah, you can see that how rich they can use the images. You can display the graphs and all. So it's very easy to develop all those things in Appian. There are some companies feedback that they have mentioned that let's say for example for Pair, it says that the reporting time that it was taking hours, now it has been reduced to the minutes. They can quickly see the reports, expand the reports, and by looking in the charts or by looking into the graphs is being designed for their data. It has been reduced to the 3 minutes, and then it's very faster. Same way, the AQA also I mentioned that the clinical trial startup time reduced from by months. So that is power of Appian, and that's why it's being very much famous in the customers' choices. If you talk about the market positioning, right? IBM BPM was there a decade back now. It's many companies I have seen. Even personally, I have developed many application which was used in the IBM BPM initially, and then now it has been converted to the Appian. So yes, it is currently leading the market as well in terms of BPM market. There are many other tools are being also introduced, but right now Appian is it's being like a first choice for the customers. All right, this is old data of 2020, but still it is being static like that, and Appian is still the top. Okay, when we talk about the Appian, where it fits, it's like if we are going to use Appian, can't we use any other tool? If my data is residing some other place, let's say if my data is residing in my Oracle database, so do I have to convert that data to the in a MariaDB? No. Appian can integrate with the third party very easily. It has its own components like APIs and connected systems and integration objects, which helps us to connect very easily with the third party and share the data with them and use the data of the third party. So Appian you can use individually. Appian you can combine with some other application. Appian we can combine in it as a middleware as well. So these are the flexibility makes Appian the first choice for the customers. All right. Yeah, Appian also comes with like artificial intelligence. It has own artificial intelligence tool. You don't have to buy a different artificial like automation anywhere and all, right? It has its own artificial tool. And automation is also there. Unified database is also being provided by the Appian in-house database. If you want to use, like, if you do not have the database, you don't have to go anywhere. Appian gives you its own database. All right. Yeah, this is one of the example of the UI. You see that how there's a lot of data on the UI, right? If user wants to have all things to display the data with the images, with the graphs, the grid, everything is quite possible in Appian to do. These all are the examples of the Appian interface. Okay, automation. If you want to provide an automations, if you want to have bots, if you want to have artificial intelligence, you can combine all the three, and you can build your Appian environment, right? However, I would like to clear you first, like this automation interface. Artificial intelligence bots. These are the separate Appian topics, which may takes another month to learn. It has a separate chapter, if you say, to learn about. What we are going to learn in this training is that Appian basic development, where you can create an application. It's not like every application is required AI and the bots, right? So we are going to learn how do we build an application, a basic Appian applications with the help of process models and other components like expression rules interface, so that we can understand Appian. AI bots are the different things we can combine within the Appian itself to enhance our application experience. Okay, so you see this example of image. You can see that this is a process model that we create in Appian. So the process model is basically defined to the workflow where the data should be going based on what scenarios. If you can take any condition here, you can see this, the gateways are there. So if the gateways like value is no, you can directly go to the end node. If it is yes, then you can perform certain tasks. So all those things that we are seeing here, right, these all are nothing but the smart services. We have different smart services in Appian process modeling. Like for example, if you want to send an email, we have a send email smart service. If you want to write the data to the database, we have a write to data to entity smart service. So all those things we call as a smart service in Appian. All right. What are the objects that we have? We have process models. We have interfaces, rules, integrations, AIs. All those things you can use in Appian environment. These are the list of companies that we that are currently working with Appian. This is very few. It's very few because we have list of these health agencies, pharmas, and healthcare. A huge number of clients who is with the financial is also working with Appian tool. You name it, and I can sure that that is using Appian for sure. Okay. Before I go to the product demo, do you guys have any question? Anything they want to know about what Appian is or how training is going to be? Please.
Yeah, like we have our own integrated environment, Ravi, that we can install in our systems.
You don't have to install anything. What we will be doing is that we will be providing you one environment. If you don't have your own, so we will be providing your one environment access where you can go and do some practice. But but make sure that don't misuse the thing and then share your credentials with someone else. It's very difficult to because the Appian provides its Appian also gives you the free environment. The problem is that there are a lot of requests is being made to the Appian. So nowadays they have restricted the Appian environment and it's taking a lot of time to give it. So I will be sharing you the details. How do you get your own Appian environment? If you are working with such a company who is a partner of Appian or who is working with the Appian development, you can get your Appian practice environment easily. If not, then I'll be sharing one of the environment access with you all where you can go and practice.
Okay, thank you.
So it's a limited period, Ravi. So where they are giving the.
No, it's not a limited period, but they have limited the access given to everyone. Initially, that if you log in with your own personal email address, also you were able to get that environment. But now what happens is that a lot of requests is being made. So your term may get into the queue, and you may get it after a month or 2 months. Right. But what they have done is that if you are not using your environment for like 3 consecutive days, then they are revoking it because they also have to use the servers, right, and the space for the environment. So that's why they wanted to be make sure that whoever they are providing the access, they are using it. Otherwise, they will revoke it in if it is not being used.
Okay.
However, if you use your first company's email address, then you will get it easily.
So
For example,
if
if you are working with Capgemini is a partner of Appian. So if you log in with your Capgemini email address, then you will get it very easily, the practice environment.
and once you get the environment, right? So there is no once I get the environment, right? So there is no time limit, right? So
No time limit. But if you are not going to use in 3 consecutive working days, it will revoke. It will get revoked. Then again, you have to restart it.
got it. And as you told, right? So we have some integration capabilities in Appian, right? So so where in integration, right? In the integration product, where we used to uh, transform the data and we can connect to the third party systems. The same way we have the capabilities in Appian.
Yeah, we do have that. So we have integration object. Initial days, if you talk about 2015 or 2016, you have to do a lot of coding to integrate with the third party. But now Appian has come up with its one object called integration, where you just have to provide your URL the base URL, and then the authentications, and it's done. You just have to click on test request and you'll get the data from your third party. So yes, you can bring your data from a third party, that is integration, and you can also expose your Appian data to third party, which is an API. So it's very
Okay,
easy
so
now to be configured in Appian.
through API only we can do that.
Sorry? Do?
Through API only we can do that, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And just my question is, Ravi, so uh, can we do that transformation like JSON to XML or XML to JSON? Some kind of transformation can we do in Appian?
Yes, there are functions available in Appian to, like
Okay,
suppose if you have discrete kind of data and you want to change it to the JSON, you have two JSON function to do so.
okay, got it. Thanks, Ravi.
Yeah. So, all right. Anyone else has any questions? Okay. Let me go through the Appian UIs. Then might be there with questions after that. All right. Okay. So this is an Appian interface that you are seeing here. So Appian is basically having, on the cloud, we are using this cloud version. Okay. So in the cloud version, you can see that there's a base URL and then we have a shoot. Appian environment has multiple suites. The first suite is called Tempo. Tempo is for the end users where they can go and see, what are the actions they can take, what are the applications they are part of, and then what are the records and reports they have access. They can see all of it, and they can also perform the task is being assigned to them. All right. So let's talk about this particular suite Tempo, where we have news, tasks, records, report, and actions. 5 different sub tabs. So news is basically if your application if anything is being posted on the as a public notice, right? You can see in the news tab. This is very rarely being used nowadays. Task is basically if you are being assigned any task in your application, you need to come and perform that task here. So come to the task tab and then you can see whatever the task is being assigned to you. You can open the task and you can perform an action on it. Okay, so this is the task tab. Let's say I just approve one of the request. Okay, now records. In what an Appian record is basically, it's a collection of data and bringing all those data and displaying your data at one place. So let's say, for example, we can display a customer record, or if you want to have a list of employees record or any leave request, whatever you want to have, you can display a particular record here. And if you want to take an action, you can also take an action on your record. So that comes under the record tab. Reports, if you have built any graphical representation of your data to be displayed, let's say like if we have a graph to be displayed, like how many requests has been approved, how many requests has been rejected. If you want to see in the graphical representation, we can do that. All right. Now we have actions. Actions are basically if you want to trigger a new action. Let's say if you want to perform. So all this left hand side, you are seeing that these are nothing but an application. So if you are a part of 4 or 5 application, all the application will be listed here. Now let's say, for example, I want to take an action. I want to initiate one transaction for the request of some customer. So let's say customer visited us and then say that, okay, I would like to transfer certain amount from one account to another account. I search for this customer, like, okay, this is the customer. I go next and then I select the account number. Once I select the account number, I can put an amount and put some description here, add some currency details, right? So and hit next. So if you want to perform a new action, you can come to the action tab and take an action on it. So this particular suite is called Tempo, which is for the basic users, the end users basically, who need to take an action. Okay, any question here?
This is the customer application that which you have developed, right? Which you are showing it to us. So where is it actually hosted? Like
It's
this is a
the server that you are
somewhere,
using, its own Appian server.
or like which server they use? Like if we buy a Appian license, will they provide any application server in the bundle?
Yes, they do, right? I mean, I think they are using this one, Tomcat, I believe. What's that? I forgot the name. But yeah, it has its own. If you're creating a license, if you are taking an on cloud version, then it will be hosted on the Appian server. Okay, where they can assign you some space where you can use your Appian servers, like for uploading the documents, and then uh, you know creating the hosting your application and everything. So if you want to, if they want to use this application, they need to be access of this URL. If they click on it, they will get a login credentials page where they need to go and log in and then access it. So without credentials, you cannot access this.
Yeah, that's the question from mine. Like, for example, I need to develop an application for my customer. Let's say it's a bank. So first thing, like, where I have to log into the Appian, like, to develop that particular components.
So they will give you the access right on the URL. This, like, say for example, this is the URL, right? You need to log in
Okay.
here. Let me show you. Let me log out.
Okay, this is default for all the vendors, right? Who are going to
Yes.
use.
I mean, not
Then you have.
see, if you are buying a license, you will get your own space. There will be a different URL. Now, for let's say for example, you have requested for an Appian environment, you get this URL. Okay. Now here you need to log in.
Okay, so how it happens, like this login authentication again? So everything is in cloud, that is in Appian premises, or it is in vendor premises.
So there are multiple ways of login. So right, say for example, the credential that I am using, I have a credential created inside this environment. Right. If I go and create one more credential and provide access, I mean provide you the details of that, you can also able to log in there. Right. For what happens is that, let's say for example, we have 10 developers. So for 10 developers, we have to create 10 different credentials in Appian so that they can log in with their own credentials. Now, if you are working with an organization and then you don't want to create a separate login here, if you want to use SAML authentication, right? You can also link with the SAML, so your company's email address and then employee ID will be will be used as a login credentials for you. Let me show you the user tab where you go and create the credentials. So here we have the users where we create all those credentials. Okay, to log into the window. So if I create for you, you will be able to access this URL where you can go and visit all the sites.
Okay. Yeah. So basically everything is in Appian premises then. So, but the just only thing is, like, we create our access control lists or access control users, that we will everything will be configured in here only. But at the end, it will be deployed on the server by default by Appian only, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thanks, Phil.
Let's get closed 1 second. Okay, so we have, just like the way we have tempo, we have other practice environment as well, where like other suites where we go and do the development. Let me show you how to get close. Okay. So this is a navigation bar where we can go and navigate. Now, second suite is called Appian Designer. This Appian Designer is for the developers, where you need to go and start creating your application development. So you see these all are that you are seeing here. These are nothing but different applications that user may have created for their own. So in one environment, you can create n number of applications. Okay. So what this called? This is called an application, a package where you can bring all your contains, all your objects together for one particular application, right? Now, for example, the application that I have shown you, the wire transaction, that's this application. So inside this application, we have all the objects being created. So you see it has different tabs. It has the build, it has the deploy, and then monitor options. These are nothing but the objects that we use to create our Appian application. Okay. So we have connected systems, AI skills, connected systems, constant, data stores, data type, decisions, document. All these objects are required to develop the application. So if you want to develop your application, you have to come to this designer tool, design shoot, where you can create a new application, provide the name of the application, and then start developing your objects. Okay. It has multiple tabs. The first tab is for the whole view of your application. Second is that objects. If whatever different objects, if you want to filter out, irrespective of the application, it will give all the objects. Let's say if I want to say constant, so it will display all the constant here is available to this particular Appian environment, irrespective of the application.
Can
If
you
you
show
want to
us
check
where we can you
yeah,
show us the UI of that previous application?
the UI is okay. Let's see. So we had that search UI, right, where you are searching for the customer. So let me
This
show
right
the
transaction.
yeah. So customer search section. So if you remember, we were having this customer search where we search for the customer. So this was the UI that we developed. So you see, this is the design mode and an expression mode. If you go to the expression mode, you will be able to see the code designed for this UI. It's running quite slow today. Yeah. So see, this is the code is being developed for this. Right. So as I said, right, if you want to make any changes, you can see the changes directly on a UI itself. If you want to make some changes, let's say for the customer search, if I would like to have customer search screen, right? So it will be reflect here. Whatever change you will make here, you will be able to see it right on this side. Now, if you want to make these changes directly from the design mode, right? So let's say I just select this one, it will get highlighted here. Now I can remove this from here. So it will also work. So this is the design mode, and that's the expression mode. If you want to work with the code, you can go to the expression mode. If you want to design with these things, you can do it like simply. Now let's say if you want to have some more interface, I mean text field here. So just what we need to do, drag and drop it somewhere below here. So I'll say drop it below to this. The text field is being added. Okay. Now if you want to change the label, let's say I'll say email. Search with the email. All right. And then you see for all we are using the label position is on the left aligned. So we can say label position is justified. All right. Now if you want to put some instruction, I can say search by email address. So we don't need to write any code for this one. The code is being already generated in the backend. If you go to the expression mode, then you will see that for this particular email field, this is the code is being developed. Okay. So that's how
In
you
case
can do that.
if we want to write any logic for this space, where we implement that.
So if you want like for value validation, like say it should not consider the numbers, or if you want to put some validation for the email, it should not cross. Let's say I would say that the email address should not be more than 200 characters. Let's say I'm going to say here. Let's say I want to say that this should be read only. If I say read only, then you cannot edit it. It will become read only. But as this is a user input task, so I'm making as a read only, and then I say required to. It means that if you don't provide the value for the email, you will not be able to. I mean, it's required. You have to provide the value for this email. So
I
that's the
understood
required
the
code.
validation part.
Mhm.
For example, I have two radio buttons. If I
Okay.
select one radio button, I want to
Mhm.
display file list of data. If I
Okay.
select another radio button, I want to select only particular person details. Then where
Mhm.
we write all that logic here itself.
You will write it on the field itself, the field validation. Let's say, for example, as you're saying that, let me do one thing. Let's say I'm saying a bang radio button. Okay. Label, I'll say just okay. Value, I'll say I want to say option is a comma b, and sorry, not the value, choice value. Choice label is going to be a comma b, and choice values, let's say I'm gonna say same thing, a comma b, and value I would like to capture, I'm gonna say local variable, one more local variable, let's say val x, nothing. So local bang value x and save into the same. Okay, now you see this one, we have a and b. So if I select any one of them, it says a. If I select this one, it will select the value b. Now based on this selection, if you want to display any other things, you can do that. Now let's say if I'm going to put this one, I'm going to put this before the email field. Okay, I'm putting it here. Now for example, I say that show when, we have a condition in the show when into the email field. All right, I'm saying that if value, sorry, local bang x is equal to a, then true, else false. So I'm saying that if the field of this one is a, then display the email field, otherwise don't. No? For example, I'm saying if I select a, now I'm getting this email field. If I select b, I'm not getting it. So likewise, you can put some conditions when you want to display, what you want to display on this selection. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you want to calculate something else, you can do it, calculate in the here itself, right? Let's say if you want to calculate, I'm saying that if the value of x is a, then do something. If value is x is equal to b, then do other something, right? So you can perform all those things in the same interval as well. Is that clear?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Cool. So this is the basically designer environment where you go and do all your developments. Now the third suite that we have is called cloud database. So as I said, the Appian has its own cloud database where you can create the tables, views, procedures, and functions. And it's very easy to create the tables. You just have to, let's say if you want to create any new table, provide the name, provide the column names, and then the descriptions, and you will be able to create a table. Okay. So it supports table, views, procedure, and functions. Now the fourth important suite is called admin tempo. I'm sorry, the admin console. Admin console is for the system admin users where they can go and they can set the branding of your Appian environment. You can provide some details like what kind of file you wanted to upload. Basically, the admin side things that you wanted to perform, you can do that. You can create the users. You can set up the LDAP and SAML authentications. You can create the the credentials for your APIs, the third-party credentials you can set for the deployments and all those things, right? So all those things you can perform by using the admin console. If you want to deploy any plugins to your environment, you can use the plugins and search for and deploy the new plugins, add new plugins, right? So all those things you can perform into your admin console. The other suits that it has, like say for example, it has a system logs. System logs is basically for like if you want to see what has been, Appian gives the error message straight away on the UI. If that is not enough, more than enough to understand, make you understand that what's the issue, then you can come to the system logs, and then here you can see all the logs files available for your. Let's say for example, for anything goes wrong in your application, you can search for tomcat stdir. So this will give you the error logged on the current date. Likewise, we had other date as well. So if you want to check for other date, you can do that. So it will give you detailed description of your error messages, what is going wrong with your application. However, Appian, is more than enough. It gives a detailed description of the error message if something goes wrong. Likewise, we have any other things like if certain objects is being deleted, you can come and you can search for the deletion log, and you can see what is being deleted by whom and who is the user who is deleted the things. I mean, this is basically for the system user, system
Robbie,
admin users. Yeah.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, actually, you will explain elaborately. I mean, detail explain later. Yes, one by one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. This is just a demo, like to know about the API and how it
Yeah,
works and
yeah,
what things
yeah.
are.
Makes sense. Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, that's the log file. So you can perform all the things. And then you can see this, right? All those, these are the applications. So Appian has two interfaces basically. One is the tempo that you have seen. Nowadays, nobody is using the tempo because tempo is a very legacy UI representation of the things. Now people are using sites. Let's say the example that we have seen in the action, right? To create, to initiate the transaction. Let me show you by using the site. So this is a site that we developed for the last batch, and where we see that how do we create the initiator transaction. So we can create a transaction from here. It's the same thing that we will perform from there, right? So we can do all those things here. If you want to see the list of the customers, if you want to see the dashboard, right? All those things we have seen there, right? So here you can see in the site as well. So many companies are now using site to display the data. So difference between tempo and sites is that the site is basically represented for the only one single application. However, in tempo, if you are a part of 4 or 5 applications, all those will be listed at the same place. So you have to find out which one has what purpose. But the site is being it's allocated for one particular application. Yes,
I
that
mean,
is
I
all
mean,
I.
site means one kind of a website. Looks like website.
Exactly. I mean, you are still on the Appian URL itself, right? But look and feel wise, you will feel that you are working on a web application. However, if you go to a tempo page is more look like you are still on the Appian environment and working on the Appian environment.
Yeah.
So it's basically it was the old fashion where user was using this, but now Appian has come with the the site
Yes.
uh,
Yes. Yeah.
interface where you feel wise, it will give you the look and feel wise that
Yeah.
you're working on a web application.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that's all I had to show you guys. No. All right. So let's connect tomorrow at the same time. Tomorrow I will be explaining more about the Appian. We'll talk about the Appian objects in details for each of the objects that we have, and then in some time we can start the Appian development. So we'll talk about the use case. We think about it, and then we can proceed with that. Okay.